So welcome everyone. It's Wisconsin Power Light's public hearing session in their current rate case. My name is Michael Newmark, Administrative Law Judge for the PSC. We're here to take your public comments. We did this as well at 1 p.m. and we're here now to take comments here live with people in the Public Service Commission's hearing room and also on Zoom. We are also taking public comments in writing, and we can do so through the Commission's website or by U.S. mail. Details on how to do that is on the notice of hearing, and we're displaying that on the screen share as well. Currently, we have 263 comments on file, so kudos for the public getting their comments in. And we'll continue to take some comments now. So we have one person in the hearing room. I have the appearance slip from that person, and like you see on the slip. So if you do wish to speak in the hearing room, just need to give me your hearing slip, your appearance slip, and you want to check the box that says "Speak Now." So we'll know to call your name, and that's basic process. I'll just call your name, have you come up to the witness stand. I'll swear you in, and you can give your comment. We also have, a few people connected on Zoom, and once we have our hearing room participants, once we get through that list, we'll then poll the Zoom participants and see if they wish to make a comment. So basic ground rules for making a comment: just speak slowly and clearly so we can transcribe what you say. We have a court reporter here who will take down what you're saying, and that'll be part of the official transcript and the record in the case. And the record is what the commissioners use to make a decision in this docket. So the record will consist of today's hearing, the comments we're receiving in writing, and all the evidence that we receive at the party hearing session, which will be September 27th at 10 a.m. So let's get started. Make a few adjustments to the screen here. All right, so let's call our witness in the room here, Kirby Mack. Marianne, do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead with your statement.
Good evening. My name is Kirby Mack, and I'm currently Vice President of Blacks for Political and Social Action of Dane County Incorporated. While BPSA is currently an intervener in this case, I'm speaking here today in my personal capacity and as a concerned citizen. I'm here to speak in opposition of Alliant Wisconsin Power and Lights here in WPL. It's a proposed increase of their gas and electricity rates to the citizens of Dane County, Beloit, Janesville, Rock County, and Walsall. I am a lifelong resident of Wisconsin and a former state and city government official with over 36 years of experience as administrators at both the city and the state level in government. In my various roles, I have held positions of responsibility for equal opportunity and service delivery, and have advocated for and written city and state policies that remove barriers to opportunities and access. I have a master's degree in policy affairs and public administration from UW and an undergraduate degree in psychology and certifications in labor relations and personnel administration. This background has afforded me a unique perspective on the ways in which government policies can impact people's lives. I've seen firsthand how these policies can have a disproportionate impact on low and moderate income individuals and marginalized communities. I am committed to working to make sure that all people have an opportunity to succeed. I'm a community leader with over 36 years of experience working on issues that impact Black and Brown people. I have a deep understanding of the challenges they face, and I am committed to working to help them overcome them. Having served as president of Wisconsin Association of Black State Employees, president and lifetime member of Madison Branch NAACP, and a charter member and current first vice president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Madison Alumni Chapter, I believe that everyone deserves to have the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or income status. Through these and many other organizations, I have had the opportunity to hear directly from people about challenges they face. I am committed to using my experience and knowledge to advocate for policies that will improve the lives of all people, but especially those that are most vulnerable, as in this case. As such, I'm here today to express my deep concern about the recent proposed increase by Alliant of their gas and electric rates. You will hear from others via their online submissions that this increase would have a disparate impact on low and moderate income families and individuals who are already struggling to make ends meet. The impact of this increase on families' ability to heat their homes in living quarters, cook their food, purchase medicine for themselves and their children, and run essential appliances have become overwhelming. The community urges U.S. commissioners to take deliberate action by ensuring a fair pricing for utility services for low and moderate income customers, as your predecessors have in supporting the increase of Alliant management and their investors. We urge you to create a fair and just system for our Black and brown and low-income families who are struggling to pay their energy bills. This can be accomplished by providing financial assistance to low-income families, investing in energy-efficient programs, and promoting renewable energy sources. I urge the Public Service Commissioners to reject this proposed increase and to work with WPL to find more equitable solutions. I do believe that there are ways to invest in our energy infrastructure without continuing to pass the cost on to our customers, your customers. I have read the testimony of Roger D. Colton, the expert witness representing BPSADC in this PSC case. Mr. Colton is a highly sought after expert in the field of regulatory economics, and his work has helped to shape the policies that govern utilities and energy efficiency across the country. Roger Colton's expertise in the intersection of economic and laws, or economies and laws, and particularly well suited for the challenge of regulatory utilities. Having read his testimony, I concur with his analysis and recommendations, which are as follows. Alliant should, number one, define an affordable total home energy bill as a percentage of income that does not exceed 6%, as in other states who are concerned about the rich as well as the poor have done. Consider the unaffordability of low-income Alliant customers. I, along with others, are asking that a balancing act or a balance be considered between the interests of ratepayers and investors, perhaps a lesser rate of return. Third, to require Alliant to adopt three programs in which BPSADC's expert witness discussed in great detail in his testimony. One, a percentage of income payment, PIP, an arrears management program, AMP, a pilot geo-targeted low-income usage reduction program with separate program components directed toward electricity and natural gas customers. First, I will speak to the establishing of a percentage of income of PIP program. The Wisconsin Public Service Commission should follow the lead of other states and adopt the definition of an affordable total home energy bill, such as New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. This definition sets a minimum burden or maximum burden of 6% of income, with 3% for electricity and 3% for natural gas. This is reasonable and an achievable standard that could help protect low and moderate income families from energy poverty. It's important that you consider the rising cost of energy and the impact it's having on low and moderate income families. By adopting a definition of affordable energy bills that is consistent with other states, as the PSC can help ensure that all Wisconsin's residents have access to affordable energy. It's important to note that low and moderate income earners are struggling to afford the rising cost of electricity. According to Roger Colton's testimony of the area's study, WPL's electricity prices have increased by 21% over 2018 and 2019, and by 34% since September of 2020. In the same time period, the income of low and moderate income customers in the 11 WPL zip codes has not increased in any of those years, and in 5 zip codes has decreased. This means that the cost of electricity is becoming increasingly unaffordable for these customers, and many customers are now spending a larger share of their income on electricity, which can have a devastating impact on their ability to afford other necessities. Households who earn $25,000 a year, many of the studies refer to this population as deep poverty, are paying 22 to 29% of their income on gas and electricity in the WPL service areas, compared once again to the 6% that many of us pay, and some of us even pay even less. Studies done by the environmental justice organization 350 Wisconsin, plus published a series of white papers in 2022 and 2023, and found in 4 communities it studied in the WPL service territory examples of unaffordability in WPL utility areas. The findings revealed the following. In Fitchburg, the final analysis stated people of color, especially African Americans and Hispanic Latinos, are disproportionately represented among households with high average energy burdens. In Beloit, they reported that while energy burdened households can be found across Beloit, people living in disadvantaged areas, as defined by the federal government's Justice Initiative, are disproportionately impacted by high energy burdens and other risks. In Janesville, they found, and I quote, diverse areas in the city center have the highest average energy burdens in Janesville. In Middleton, they reported that people of color, and I quote, especially Black households, are disproportionately represented among households with high average energy burdens. As commissioners, I strongly encourage that you direct the utilities to address this issue. Second, I believe the Public Service Commission should strike a balance between the interests of ratepayers and investors. A 10 to 11% rate of return is unacceptable when low-income WPL customers are paying 20 to 30% of their income on gas and electricity, while most others are paying 6%, is outrageous. The PSC should consider the unaffordability of these rates for low-income customers when setting rates for WPL. This is a prime example of how the wealthy in this state and in this country continue to amass wealth as the less fortunate see their economic situations deteriorate. Third, I agree that there should be a modification of the arrears management program. Roger Colton stated, after closely and thoroughly examining WPL's programs, concluded by saying, the data is compelling in showing that inability to pay is associated with poor payment patterns. The company's traditional collective activities, including but not limited to imposing late fees, issuing disconnection notices, disconnecting services, and offering deferred payment agreements, had not been effective at addressing this low-income non-payment. As such, WPNS should require WPL to modify their arrears management program to supplement the PIP. The modification should, 1, allow AMP participation to all income eligible customers rather than limit the AMP only to customers who have received energy assistance. 2, the AMP should be available to all customers with a minimum arrears of more than $120, rather than limiting the AMP to customers with a minimum arrears of $300. 3, AMP credits should be granted as complete payments are made, rather than limiting the grant of AMP credits to only customers who make both full and timely payments. 4, AMP credits should be granted as complete payments are made, rather than limiting AMP to active customers. Finally, I urge you to create a more user-friendly process for people in disenfranchised communities to participate in these hearings. This could include allowing organizations to submit written testimonies on behalf of the people they serve. Many families in these communities really, do not have the flexibility or luxury to take time off work or leave their homes during the workday or school nights. Additionally, some families may not even have reliable transportation to get to hearings held on the far west side of Madison. I urge you to consider accepting written testimonies, holding hearings on weekends or evenings in the central part of the cities that WPL services. I think I'd like to add one other point. I'm a passive solar homeowner for approximately 40 years, and although I cannot currently place solar panels on my home, I am a strong supporter of solar energy, and I've seen the benefits in my own electricity bill. So I urge the PSC to retain the solar panel program as is, so that others in the future can have the same opportunity to go solar and make Wisconsin a leader in clean energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I keep the written statement you have? Just go check it with what you said. Make sure you have any questions about that. Great. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we may have another comment here. Okay. We have Valerie Davis Humphrey. Would you like to make a comment? Come on up. I'm going to swear you in and then give us your name and your comment, please.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm? Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Valeria Davis Humphrey. I'm here to represent the Dane County NAACP and the Rock County NAACP, which was actually the Beloit chapter. Actually have memberships in both, and I have been a lifelong member, a lifelong resident of the Alliant Energy Wisconsin Power and Light community. I remember going to church with my great-grandmother past the Rock County Generation Station, which is now a Superfund site, and being scared to death of the big machinery and the piles of coal because I was only this high. But at that point in time, home was comfortable because we had oil heaters in the house. And what we are looking at now is a society that has evolved without any consideration for people who have no choice but to participate in the electricity and gas generation. I get a little bit confused because even here in Dane County, I have both Alliant, Wisconsin Power and Light, and MG&E. So I get to balance, if that's what I must call it, between the two bills, between seasons, because everybody gets paid out of my house or things don't run. The reason I bring up these things is because of Wisconsin, Southern Wisconsin in particular, and Wisconsin Power and Light should be well aware that this place has evolved as an industrial center, Beloit in particular, and is now still, unfortunately, a Rust Belt area of the country. People have worked very hard, but they used to have options when they could have oil, heat, and other things that made it unnecessary to try to balance their income against the rising cost of living. I really love all the statistics that Mrs. Mack was providing to the board, but what I want to talk about is what she said at the end. The people who are not here. I'm here because I know these people. First of all, we have a huge population in Madison, and especially Beloit and Janesville, of retired baby boomers, so to speak. The people who helped to build this country are now retired on set incomes, and they worked hard. I can think of at least 3 people personally who ruined their bodies being linemen for Wisconsin Power and Light, pulling the wire. It's hard. It is hard work. And to stop and think that those people right now are having to perhaps struggle over how they will pay their electric bills is really just heartbreaking. We also had an industrial complex here in southern Wisconsin that served the military, built machines. The machines that build the machines, paper making machines. It went on and on. Good jobs. People who were able to keep their families together, build their homes, and live their happy lives. These are their children now who are represented among the underemployed, the low income, the retired who can't afford power. And it just, it's just heartbreaking because they are not slovenly, they are not lazy. 66 or more % of welfare recipients statewide in Wisconsin are white. And so we're not talking about just poor Black people sucking on the system. And I do say that in a very crass way, because I think sometimes when we have to come before you and speak on behalf of people of color, it seems that we are the only ones having problems. We better stop and think about that in Wisconsin. Yes, we are overrepresented primarily because of the housing stock. If you go to a place like Beloit, there's no such thing as a big apartment complex and stuff where you can rent. You have people with older homes, perhaps homes they built by hand. And lots of farmers in the area who work the farm. These people are from Arkansas, et cetera, et cetera. They are white people. And so their homes have not been updated or made energy efficient or solar optional in the past 70 to 120 years. These are the people who are trying to get enough energy into their homes to heat an aging. It's what they have, and they're doing what they can with it. But, you know, to have like an hour-long program on television at 6 o'clock in the evening on Saturdays, wherever it is, where how to power up your home is not going to help them. First of all, they're still out working. And second of all, it's expensive to try to make your home energy efficient. And we have to think about how we've evolved as a society if we truly want to be considered an advanced society, how we treat these people who have helped to build this country. Second of all, the good jobs are gone. When Kirby talks about the low income levels of people here, it's no accident. They've stayed with us, and we don't want to just chase them off and have them uproot their families and leave the area, because the jobs will come back. They are Wisconsin residents. They built Wisconsin. They deserve to stay here. But that low income thing is a reality. And if you want good workers in the future, be it their children or these people going back into the workforce, we can't afford to price them out of living in Wisconsin. We just really can't. And also, we should be aware that even if you are not living in an older home, when you think about living in an apartment, and I think of it myself before I bought my home, if you are low income and living in an apartment, you also do not have the option to maximize your energy use. It's all up to your landlord. And it's one of those things that I guess just isn't profitable on a long cash flow level to do that for a property that you're renting out to people. So these are the ones we talk about, the non-payers and the likely to pay in the future. If you can't pay now, there's not a whole lot of chance you're going to be able to pay that plus more in the future. But I'm wondering if Wisconsin Power and Light could do a couple of things. In addition to everything that Mrs. Mack proposed, I'm wondering if they can consider just having like a temporary moratorium on the profit level that they are currently eliciting. Not only are these times inconvenient for people to come, but I bet you darn well they do not know there is a proposed rate increase. They'll see it when their bills come in, but they don't know. I mean, for anyone who hasn't stopped to figure out what it takes or feel what it takes on a daily basis to raise a family when you're not making enough money to feed your kids, do the homework, and get home from your job. And not only are gas and electric rates for your home going up, you may not be able to afford to put gas in your car. Your car may not be running. Your bus may not be running. All of these things are part of the reality of poverty for people, for the reality for low income people, and all the things that they're dealing with. And so we can sit here and we can say, yes, we addressed it on the records, but I dare anyone to go out there, anyone who's accepting profit margin from MG&E. And I'm not attacking people who are smart enough to make money and have enough to make money. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, do you recognize what is happening on the other end of the spectrum for people who are struggling? Because one point that I made before, we think that we like that we need, psychologically, we need to all think that we're middle class, but we are not. We are a triangle, a pyramid in the society. A few people are making a lot of money. A few more are making quite a bit of money. And the bottom of that pyramid, which is many, 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 many of us, are not middle class. We are lower class. And so we have to work very hard to survive. And as I said before, in addition to the African Americans and Latinos who are suffering this, Wisconsin is a farm state, y'all. These farmers work hard, and they may not even be on this grid at this point in time. They still may be on LP gas or something to that effect. But if they build a new house, so we're talking about a lot of people who can't afford to be part of a system that they have no choice to be a part of it. So if we could just stop and think, if they would just consider the people who can't speak for themselves, that we cannot continue to go down this road of profit only without consideration of where the profit's coming from. And the reality is that if someone is low income and receiving public assistance and paying taxes and so forth, it's the same money you're taking back from them that you gave them. So what's the point of that? I think that we would really be remiss if we do not consider some of the suggestions that Mrs. Mack has made. And this is how it feels. It feels hopeless because you cannot feed your children if your stove doesn't run. You cannot keep your children well slept and prepared for the next day and doing their homework if the utilities are turned off. So many things depend on the way we have structured this society. And so let's take another look at it. That is not at all what I intended to say, but are we human or not? Are we human or not? And I would like to think that if industries like the Wisconsin Power and Light Company, Alliant Energy, Madison Gas and Electric, whoever, North States Power Company, if we are here to build a society, is it for people or is it for Wall Street? Is it for people or is it for Wall Street? We cannot keep going down this path. We know that profit, you can't grow indefinitely, especially when the country is dragging behind a major pandemic and all the other things that I've already mentioned. So on behalf of everyone, and I'm really getting kind of emotional here because I'm thinking of all the people I graduated with at Beloit Memorial High School, class of 1977, I don't care if you know, and all the people I know from this area, from my life here, the generation that built us, who came here to the north during the northern migration to build this state, to their children now who are like, I just don't think I can stay here. It makes me emotional to think that all these little systemic issues, and this is a systemic problem. And notice I didn't say systemic racism, it is systemic. I'm making the point that it's systemic for poor people, disproportionately affecting people of color. We need to fix this system, and basically our coming here to testify and tell you how horrible it is, we're not the ones who can. We need some consumer advocates. We need some people inside the company with a heart and with a soul, and we need to reconsider the process. So I hope that you'll think of that. So I'm sitting here thinking of all my friends with their post General Motors bodies and stuff like that. You know, people who used to be taller, but they were at their knees and et cetera, et cetera. This is real. This is real. These are my childhood friends. It just doesn't make any sense. We can't go this way as a society. So that was mushy, and I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in the hearing room wish to comment? No other green slips? Okay, we do have a number of people connected online. Let's see, we have all the people so far indicating that they do not wish to testify. I do recognize a number of them connected with parties in the case, but let me just ask, make sure that if someone does wish to testify at this time on Zoom, just unmute and let me know. Not seeing anyone. Okay, well, it is 6:30, so at this point, I'm not seeing any more comments to receive. We will be continuing to accept comments until October 4th, online or through US mail. And we will be back on Zoom September 27th to receive the evidence of commission staff and parties in the case. So at this point, we'll wrap up here. Just being, remember and be informed that we will include the comments on the record and they will be reviewed by the commissioners. We'll make a decision in the case. Like I said before, as well as the evidence from parties and staff. So appreciate everyone for coming out and giving their opinion in the case. I think it's very useful and will be important for the commission to hear. So thanks very much and we're adjourned.